welcome to another episode of the Orphic. We are talking all things beyond ordinary understanding. My name is Alyssa Sokol. I am an astrophysicist. I just got my PhD. I'm interested in understanding how the universe works from an energetic perspective, holistic perspective, and that's part of what I'm kind of trying to do here on this podcast and stuff. Yeah. So how about you? Hey.
Hey, I'm Mikayla at Mariposa Moonchild on Instagram. I almost said Facebook.
Throwback.
I'm an empathic medium, intuitive energy healer. I'm just trying to support the ripple effect of healing in this world.
Yes.
We really gotta work on these intros. I hear other people do it. I'm like, it's so easy. I don't know why it's so hard, but it's like we get put on the spot and like talk about yourself. But no, I do energy work, energy medicine, even as I like to call it. I do past life regressions with clients, as well as energy attunements, Reiki sessions, readings, and one-on-one spiritual mentorship and support. And yeah, I guess the main goal of it is just supporting others, guiding others on their healing journey so they can continue to do the same for others. And then the ripple effect keeps going and going. And I like to think of the word synergy too when I think about this. And then we're all just like connected in this net and like holding each other.
Yes, we are. And that's also what, the goal of this podcast is, just kind of holding space and just supporting each other through this wild time, which is what we're also going to talk about today, because it's been wild. So
yeah, it has been wild.
What's going on with this energy right now?
I don't know. I feel so anxious and kind of twisted up when I did not. Actually this morning I woke up very groggy out of a very weird dream.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about my earthquake dream just because so the other night I had this dream about an earthquake. So also just dream interpretation is a whole other cool topic in itself, not even something that we need to talk about on the podcast. Just like, whoa, well, we should, because the dream dimension is a subject on its own, like what is the dream dimension? But I remember listening to some really
should. Yeah.
I've listened to, if anyone's listened to some interesting people that are like professional dream interpreters or something like that, it's super interesting. Chatty Broads have had a dream interpreter. I forget what her name is, but that podcast had a really interesting dream interpreter. And anyway, it's just cool how important all the details are in your dreams and how they're symbolic. And I had a dream that I was in an earthquake, and it was at my house, and which was funny because I live on Long Island in New York and there's no earthquakes in New York, but metaphorical dreams and shit. But it was just really crazy. I remember seeing the grass almost like rolling up, like things were popping up. And but I remember I was talking to my cousin on the phone last night, and I was unpacking this, and I was trying to when I was talking to her, I realized kind of exactly what I felt was the meaning from it, because you are your best interpreter of your dreams, I think. Because it's just like you're the best decider of your own intuition, kind of the same thing with your dreams. It's like you can't really ask someone else what your dreams mean. You kind of have to go within and figure out like what you think they mean. It's probably accurate. Anyway, I was just thinking about the really like how an earthquake, in terms of a natural disaster, and obviously the natural disasters have significant meanings in themselves. An earthquake is very like sudden and jarring. And so I felt like the significance of that was, I feel like it was very significant that it was an earthquake and not a different natural disaster, because it felt like some sudden shift, I don't know.
Yeah, having an earthquake dream is weird. Like, I have no experience with earthquakes, nor would like ever really think about it. Like,
yeah, I think my interpretation, because there's it's just so weird. There's so many different interpretations for dreams online that it's almost like defeats the purpose of having an interpretation to Google, because there's so many different ones. But
Yeah.
I think, but it actually,
Google
no,
it.
well,
Can you Google it? Google it right now.
no, I did already Google it.
Oh.
And
Did you say that already?
No.
Okay. I was like, did I completely miss that? And if so, I'm so sorry.
No, I didn't say that. But
What did it say?
it was, a lot of the things were about change, and some of the things, this is like, whatever article I pulled up had like 5 different interpretations. But I was actually going to say that you could treat Googling your dream, or you could treat Googling anything just like ingesting any other information on the internet or anything like that. You read it and you know what you resonate with and what you don't. It's also almost like card pulling and stuff like that. Like it's a way to activate your intuition in that sense, where you like read it and you see how you feel, and you're like, you know, which one of the options like is right for you. So I feel like that's kind of a good thing to do with dreams, and anything for like signs from spirit, things like that, animal totem meanings and things like that. But some of them were about that something like negative, it might be happening in your life soon, but it was kind of just big themes around change.
Nice.
You know, right? It was like this one article that I pulled up was like it was like natural disaster dreams usually signify something negative, but not always. And I was like,
But
okay.
not always.
Because
Yeah, no,
I know
that.
I know that there's good things coming, and I know that I'm in the midst of a very positive shift. Like I've been through enough negative. So I'm like, this is not negative. It's been negative in the past before, but this is not negative for me right now. And so I think it's just signifying like a really rapid, sudden change. And it's kind of the theme that we're going to talk about today, this energy that's kind of just waiting, like just in this holding pattern. I am waiting on this job opportunity. I spoke about it in one of our previous episodes. Actually, it was the Ascension episode, I remember. But things are still looking good there. And so I'm just, I'm waiting on all the good things. And I think it just means like rapid change. But this energy right now, it's weird. It's waiting. It's like nothing's happening. And there was I sent you some other card reading video that said the exact same thing, that speaking to this energy, it was like everything is, it's like nothing is happening, but like everything is gonna happen soon. That's how it feels.
Yeah, so I was gonna make a video on this myself, but I never got to it. Maybe I still will.
Yeah, you still can.
So what's been coming up with my clients this week, as well as talking to you, as well as when I've just like tapped into the energy on my own, is that you can feel it. Like everyone says that they feel like we're in this like waiting period, or this transition period, or this like in between phase. And what I was picking up on is it's a time of preparation. Like this waiting period, this period we're in right now is a time of preparation. It's actually a gift from the universe to allow our bodies, our spirit, our minds to be prepared. So this is the time where if you have a spiritual practice or those things that, and I don't want to put like a judgment spin on it, like you should be doing, but those things that fuel yourself, because it's like, I feel like right before this and kind of right now where we've been in this period of awareness, like just like what feels good, what doesn't. And now we're in a period of like implementation. Why'd that come out so weird? And getting prepared. And so what it is because where we're going, what's coming, what the universe is about to give us, we need to be in a space where we're able to hold it. And right now is that preparation space to be able to hold it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely feel that too.
Yeah, because, and like that even came through with your like job stuff, because I've said from the beginning, I'm like, I feel like you're gonna have to be really patient about this, but it's like it's in your favor, like it's helping you for that. When it does come through, it's gonna be like that much better, or just like that much more I don't know, like makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And we were just kind of talking about this in the abundance episode, which is episode 12. There is an aspect to abundance in any form that it's like you have to be in a position that you're ready to receive it. And I
Yes,
think
exactly.
we bypass that a lot, or we don't think about that, and you don't really think about what would happen if you received it, and would you really be ready to receive it. And then it's like that. Yes, exactly that with that job. On one hand, I'm like, yes, I know that I want it, but it's kind of also one of these things where I see this future version of myself in it, but it's also, I guess that means there's a part of me that knows that I maybe have a little more preparation to do. But eventually I obviously am going to merge myself with, that's the point, that's the goal, like merging myself with this future aspect of myself that's thriving in this new position and in this new location and all these things. But it's sometimes it's a journey to meet yourself there, to get there. And I feel like we're in that preparation.
Well, yeah. And I feel like it's just like a time period right now that really is like a gift from the universe, because it's like a time where you get to be slow, you get to experiment, you get to figure out what is working for you, you get to figure out how to set yourself up in the best way possible, how to set yourself up to success, how to open yourself up to receive. And like that's the energy that we're in right now, is learning those things, so that we've learned those things when whatever it is comes through and it's meant to come through. Another thing that I picked up on this is, if this doesn't resonate with you, if you're listening to the podcast, it probably does. But another thing that came through was that if you don't feel like a big shift is coming, or you don't feel that, and that doesn't resonate with you, what's going to happen in your life is there's going to be more realizations that are coming up for you, and there's going to be more breakdowns of your current beliefs.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be like expanding your consciousness, beginning to expand your consciousness in a new way that you've never realized before. If you don't resonate with the big shift coming, it's kind of like either or one, which still is a big shift, but just like in a different way.
Yeah. And I think there's also a big astrological shift that just happened with Pluto moving into Aquarius, and I think that happened mid to end of March, and I think it's going to be in Aquarius for a few months, and then it goes retrograde or something, but then it goes back in full force. And it was interesting reading about this a little bit, because I was like learning so much. I was like, oh, interesting. And I'm trying to understand it a little bit too. Okay, and I'm just thinking in terms of like, okay, so how Pluto's effect, because it's so much further out in the solar system, meaning it moves through, they call it like the generational planet or something, because it moves through its sign every like 15 to 25 years or 20 years or something. So it's kind of, it marks big generational shifts. So Pluto moving into Aquarius means the expansion of consciousness, because Aquarius is a very like psychic, fluid, quick moving water sign, and very conscious. So I've heard that it means a big expansion in consciousness in this next kind of decade and beyond. So pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. Yeah, astrology is so interesting. When you see like, how everything's like aligned right now, this is what was happening when everything was aligned, like back at this time, if it was like 200 years ago or something, you're like, oh wow, it was the French Revolution, or like, or whatever. Like, that's interesting. Or I guess maybe the American Revolution, maybe that would be a little bit more.
I don't know that shit at all. Don't know history.
No, you're not a history buff?
Nope.
I definitely know way more about history and geography than I ever would about math.
So, do you want to pull a card, or?
Yeah, sure. Let's
what do you
pull
think?
A card for the collective.
Oh, it's a collective reading coming at you live. Just kidding. I mean, it's like a few weeks.
Yeah, we've never pulled a card on the podcast before. Reading. So I'm just gonna shuffle.
Is this what deck is this while you're shuffling?
Starseed.
Starseed Oracle.
Ooh. So we have baby steps.
Oh, okay. That's
Show
a good one.
to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Baby steps. Action. Follow your intuition before it makes sense.
Oh, that's an important message.
That is an important message. Let me feel into it a little bit more. Yeah. I feel like this comes back to the preparation that we were kind of talking about. It's like there's like the shift coming. We can feel the shift coming. However, a lot of us don't know what it is. And that's what coming up with my clients too, where it's just like, well, they want to know, or they're like frustrated that they don't know. But the focus right now is in this like preparation phase. And I think that's the action that this card is talking about. Like, how can you set yourself up to be, let me use the word grounded, to be anchored and grounded in right now? Because to be honest, it's not that difficult to be spiritual. Like, it's pretty easy to be spiritual because we just exist as spiritual beings anyways. But being spiritual and grounded, like,
yeah,
that's powerful. Like, who the fuck is gonna mess with that? I think I even like recently seen a meme like that. It was like one of those like lover memes where it was like the guy was just like, oh, I'm spiritual and grounded, like whispers in the ear, and the girl's like, oh, like, but it's just like, it's so true. And then also with like, and so like the baby steps part of it is break down what is actually a priority, because I do this too, where it's just like, if I want to set myself up right and if I want to be grounded, I need to do breath work. I need to do tapping. I need to do cold plunge. I need to work out. I need to do yoga. I need to meditate. And it's just like the list is so long and it's just so overwhelming. And although those things are all good, start with maybe 3, even 2 that you resonate with, and your intuition knows this. Mm-hmm. That resonates with you, that is really going to help you like ground in that energy and build on that. And it's totally what the card is saying, baby steps, because as you start that, even start with 1 or 2 things, actually. Once you have those down and you feel like that's part of your routine and it's habitual, add something else on that is supportive, and then continue doing that. And that's how you start building the neural pathways. And these new neural pathways is what is not only going to bring the shift that's coming, but is also going to hold the shift. I'm going to do a little shout out to my friend Carlin Fisher. I don't know if she's in listening. It'd be cool if she was, though. She has this thing that she's doing right now. She's like a neuro optimization coach. Like, her thing is re-engineer your headspace, and she talks about the neural pathways and all this stuff. I'd love to have her on the podcast one day, but she's doing this thing right now that this course, it's a 90-day optimization course that helps you reframe and rebuild the neural pathways in your brain of being able to do what you want to do. And I've just started it, and for anyone that's interested, I would recommend it. It's like under $20 online.
Cool.
Yeah, her name's Carlin Fisher, and I think it's re-engineer your headspace. I just want to double check so I'm not giving the wrong information. Is it kind of like
practices? Like, is it like
it's kind of like, it's a 90-day thing, and each thing is very small, but it's integrating the neural pathway of just like showing up and creating the pathway of doing something and being committed to something. And she talks all the time. She's like, you talk about how you want consistency and how you're not consistent. She's like, but you are consistent. You're consistently inconsistent. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Or she's like, you're consistent. Yeah. Or you're consistent at the things that aren't necessarily supporting you. So you have to make space for what you actually want. And then she's like, if you're over here and you want to get over here, it's actually, we're bridging the gap in between and making that neural pathway. And I thought that was so interesting too, because it is true. It's not that we're not inconsistent, or we are consistent at whatever that is. Like, I don't know, like,
yeah. Right.
We're consistent in some of the behaviors that might not be supporting what we actually want to be.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And yeah, the neural pathway stuff is so good to kind of start thinking with that mindset. I had, since you had your friend Carlin stayed with you last year, and then you kind of, you picked up a lot of wisdom from her and you were sharing it with me. And then at that time I was also putting some stuff into practice too. And
you
just
were
kind of having, and I still put it into practice. I fall off the bandwagon like often, like everyone does, but I still put it in what I've taken out of it the most so far, and switching my mindset to the neural pathway stuff is the aspect of knowing that all you need to do is kind of do something once to just light the fire and ignite it, and knowing that it instantly becomes easier the next day, and knowing that it's going to be really, really hard to do it the first time, but doing it, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of really switching your mindset into, okay, I just need to do this on this first time. And I know that it's going to be easier the next time. And I've done that with many things. And I've been so like happy. I'm so glad, like that first time or that first day, like really sucked. And I really I was kicking and screaming, but just kind of switching your mentality around that has really helped me. And also knowing on like that second day, like, yes, I did it. I started the neural pathway. Like, we're good. We're on it. Like, I'm taking that next step.
It always gets easier and easier as you go. And the beginning part is where you have to put in the most effort, because you're actively deciding to carve out another neural pathway. She explained it like this. She's like, if everyone's hiking on a hiking trail and it's like a very well made hiking trail, it's been there forever, and then you veer off into the woods, not on a hiking trail, and you just go that way, like you're completely carving out your own path. But as you continue to go over that trail, over that same spot, you begin to make an actual hiking trail that becomes the path of least resistance. And it is. So it's like you walk up the regular hiking trail because it's the path of least resistance. So in your brain, the regular hiking trail might be watch Netflix. I'm just using these as an example. And so if you want to change that period in your time of where you watch Netflix to working out, you got to go do a little bit of off-roading and remake a path of least resistance, because your brain is always looking for the thing of the least amount of effort. But also at the same time, if you retrain the neural pathway, then even working out does become less effort. Like it just in the brain is what I'm talking about.
And it's making that habit or task or action just more familiar, and bridging that gap of building something up and it becoming so scary. And
because
just think
it becomes habitual.
Things,
sorry.
Right. And I think a lot of these things we know, but there's always room for if you're not doing it, or if you feel like you want to improve something, there's always room for like a mindset shift in these things that we feel like we already know, that can set us on a different path.
Yeah. And I think it's just about being honest too with what the steps are that are going to get you to who you want to be, and then bridging that gap. And like exactly what this card says, this card is baby steps. So it's just taking those baby steps to begin that. And I would say to people at home, let's start with two things. One is movement. Maybe not. I want to say one is release and one is movement, but those are kind of the same things. Maybe they're both that. What I mean is, so like release, emotional release. Let's think about journaling, or tapping. And then when I think of movement, which is still a release, but then I start thinking of more like breath work or like working out or doing like yoga.
Yeah, and you can always start small with these things.
Yeah, you can. Like, I mean, even today I wanted to do a full yoga, and I realized that maybe I was on a bit of a time crunch, so I just did a 15-minute yoga. But you know what? I still showed up and I did yoga.
Yeah. The emphasis is really on the showing up. And it's hard because then, you know, when you don't show up for yourself for a while in a row, it's hard to get yourself out of that buried feeling place.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm in it again, or you know, from the end of my PhD, I was in it in a really, really deep way. But obviously that energy like resurfaces in small amounts, and I feel it for myself right now and kind of repeating itself. So, you know, just kind of always developing or trying to like use the tools that you know, it's like I've witnessed myself get in these slumps and stuff, and I'm like, okay, let's regroup. Do we know what can I bribe myself with to get me to show up for day one? Which I have bribed myself, but hey, it works because you're getting the fire started.
Yeah, I think it's just about starting the fire, that spark, just the initial little baby step. And like, I also like the word baby step too, because it doesn't have to be a big step. You don't have to be really hard on yourself. You don't have to do every single thing. But what's just one little thing you can add into your routine that you know is supportive of you.
5-minute meditation.
5-minute meditation.
Like
Meditations, or if you don't meditate, I would recommend mixing that in, and you can start out baby steps with that. Start out 5 minutes, start out 10 minutes. If I haven't talked about it before, this is not an ad, but I wish it was. Use Insight Timer. It's a great app with so many free meditations. There's guided ones. There's just music. So many to pick from. Start utilizing that in the morning when you wake up. Look for a morning meditation. Look for a before bed meditation. I think just asking what is in your highest and best, and it goes along with showing up. And I was saying, like, you with ADHD probably relate to this too, of sometimes the way we can be like really tired or drained, and you're just like, I'm not going to go to this. I'm going to cancel on this because that's going to be better for me. But sometimes it's not. Like, sometimes you are supposed to show up, but sometimes you are supposed to cancel. I feel like that's getting kind of muddy in there. But like, do you know what I mean? Sometimes, but sometimes you would give yourself the excuse of just being like, I'm just going to cancel because I'm listening to my body and I'm so tired, but it's not actually the thing that was in your highest and best at that time.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's you have to like figure out, like is it better for me to show up and just say that I did, or is it better for me to like preserve my energy?
And sometimes it is better for you to preserve your energy, but I think maybe in that situation I just meant like taking the easy way out. Like, another one is even like buying things and committing to things online. Like, I think it's so easy for things to be flashy and be like, quote unquote, this is going to fix me or this is going to help me. And because it's spiritual, there's no reason that I shouldn't be spending my money on that. And I've been looking back in the past and been like, okay, yeah, no, there's some definite yeses and there was some definite nos, but I didn't listen to that because I just thought like, I should be doing this. I should be spending money on me, even though, and because that's a lot of the time is a narrative out there. But I think what I'm trying to say is check in with yourself and your intuition on what actually is like a yes and a no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So it's been weird this week. It's been really weird this week.
And it's tough because we're just in this area of where we're constantly saying that, like, it just constantly seems to build on itself, and it just feels like you're in like a pressure cooker.
Yeah. But also knowing that like that there's a completely different life that's going to be on the other side of this for us, like soon-ish.
Yeah. And
so it's like
we're just showing up.
I was just like procrastinating the entire day. Like I'm meeting with my advisor tomorrow. I forced myself into that because I need to get a move on like that second half of my thesis and publishing it and
right.
stuff.
I keep forgetting that
like
you're even doing that.
I literally can't find I mean, I'm just kind of like slowly warming up to it, but you know, it's like there's natural resistance there, but I'm trying to unpack it. But it's like it's not that deep. It's kind of just like, yeah, of course, like I don't want to focus, like use my brain and write, it's like, you know, like do that kind of work. Like, of course, I'm going to be like flighty around it and just kind of be like, and then today I felt like my nervous system was just a little bit extra. And I was like, I tried, but like I just couldn't. I was like,
yeah, well, I'm feeling that energy.
This is a problem for tomorrow, Alyssa.
Yeah, even right like, with us talking, like we're kind of like scattered and just like mushy brain.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
And I was, you know, well, one of the other things I was going to text you is for some reason I feel like Thursdays, like my ADHD is peak. Always. I don't know what that is. I wonder what
interesting
planet Thursdays related to. Like Thursdays, I'm always the most conscious planet. Yeah, maybe I'm dialed into higher dimensions. Like also just Thursdays we used to have a lot of events, like things in our department, and so there were always like interruptions like on Thursdays in grad school, and it was never a day that you could actually get anything done. It was always just a day of like like you were never like there. And so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I feel like on Thursdays I'm always just extra like I can't do anything. I'm just
fair enough.
That's the definition. It's like ADHD and like a like
I just feel like that. Newt is like putting his paw under the door, just like this, like going. It's just funny because I just like see a paw. Okay, why is it still saying it's full? That's so funny. Strange. I literally maybe I need to.
Did you go to recently deleted?
No, I did not, Alyssa. I literally realized it as you were talking. I was like, oh, I need to delete them again.
No, but maybe I should.
Yeah, maybe I should. The one, oh my God, I wonder if you'll come across it while you're editing. The last time we recorded, Bryce like came in for some reason, but he was like, instead of just coming like to give me my charger,
he was shirtless and he crawled in.
Yeah, and like I just it looked like I could see it out of the corner of my screen, and I'm like, why didn't you just come in like a normal person and give me your charger? Because he was like in the corner like this, and he's like pulling the cat out, and it just looks so strange, and I'm like, what is going on?
I don't know how it looks on the video yet. It's probably all in there too. It's funny, but he's like shirtless, so I won't put it in. But
yeah, I think that's probably why he was like trying to hide. But I'm like, just like walk in and give me my charger.
It was like, you know what it was like? It was like that viral video of the guy doing the live news interview, and then his kids come barging in the background.
Oh, and like the nanny's like trying to like get them out.
Yeah, it's the wife, and she comes down like on her hand, she's crawling,
and she turns around and she like shuts the door. Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. That's what he even like did.
That video is hilarious.
Yeah, that is really funny. All right, everyone. So that is a cap on this episode today. We just want to do a quick little energy update. We know that I think there's a lot of energy going on. What I've also just been like explaining to my clients too, or just people in general, I guess, is we're making space for new things to come in. So just think of that as things like transition and move. Some things might fall away as we're making space for whatever you asked for to come in. So but with that,
I feel like that's a good takeaway message, that it's like, if you feel weird, if it's kind of this weird transition, we're making space for new things.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But yeah, and with that, Alyssa and I are going to leave you. So please follow us at the Orphic podcast on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Also Apple Podcasts.
Yes, we are on YouTube.
Spotify. Please subscribe, please comment, please review. It really helps us out a lot. We really appreciate it, and we'll love you so much. And follow Alyssa on Instagram at Interdimensional Astrophysics, and follow me at Mariposa Moonchild for energy healing and updates. And yeah,
Yeah. All right. That's going to be it. Thank you for being here. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.